Right, what's good guys? Time I do another video. It's a bit of time. Anyway, I'm going to do a video on the Electoral college map, and this will just be a prediction video at the same time in some ways of the 2016 presidential general election. So let's get into it. I've already highlighted some states which I believe will be, some ones will be red or blue. Of course, the west, like the coast, basically along the coast, in my opinion, well, of course, I mean, these ones are safe, especially California. Trump can hope for 60-40, as in Trump gets 40% of the vote if he's lucky. But anyway, next door, we've got Nevada, which has quite a high white population. There's a north-south divide. The unemployment in Nevada, in Las Vegas in particular, and many parts of Nevada, is kind of a big issue, a big problem there. So Trump, with his plan on these tax cuts to perhaps potentially create more jobs, they may dig that, they may not. But I personally think this is turning red. I believe Nevada is going to turn red. But Colorado, on the other hand, is not as white a population. It's quite a bit less. But don't get me wrong, the win. But I personally see Clinton, the Democrats, holding on to Colorado by a shorter margin. By a margin of 2 to 3%. Not sure if Gary Johnson's in the on the ballot in Colorado, so we shall see. But just as it stands, and I may do another video, I study the states a bit more. Of course, you know, like I've studied Nevada, I've studied some states here. I haven't studied, excuse me, someone's in some trouble. But yeah, anyway, let's turn that blue for now. And see, I've been back and forth on Iowa. Iowa again has a very white population again, and I know I shouldn't base it on race, but if you're white, you are more likely to vote for the Republicans, of course. I mean, what, Romney got around 59.5 or 60% odd, roughly, and I think Trump's going to up that personally to 62 to 63%, and I think the overall turnout of the white voters will improve this year, I certainly believe. And so, but you know, we shall see. Maybe I'll be wrong. You know, if you want to dispute that in the comments, do it respectfully and go ahead. And to my knowledge, Clinton did do pretty well in the Iowa. If I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong. It might be the other way around. But I thought she did quite well in the Iowa caucus, and in the New Hampshire primary, she did not do too well. But nonetheless, I still think this. Well, actually, Trump is now up in the polls, and I know there's many discrepancies in the polls, and I'll tell you that. But when Trump's up in these polls with many discrepancies, what does that tell you? Wink, wink. And look, as I said, many people are going to disagree with me on this. This is just my opinion on what I believe will happen. None of us can know. I've even got some bets on, so we'll see. I've got some bets on certain states like Virginia to go red, and we'll talk about that soon. Even Michigan. And again, I'll get to that soon, because I don't take up too much of you guys' time. I just want to give my thoughts on this and who will win the most electoral college votes. But anyway, let's get on. Let's actually go to Michigan next. Let's go. Obviously, roughly around, since the 90s, hundreds of thousands, more than 200,000 jobs have been lost through the NAFTA, the WTO trade. And of course, the highest corporation tax in the world doesn't help. Just the endless regulations and whatnot. And Donald Trump's, in my opinion, well, he has preached a message there that's worked. He won his primary there. To my knowledge, Clinton did, or did she? I mean, that's something I can't remember off the top of my head, but I'm pretty sure Trump did. It may have been relatively close, but because obviously Trump's message of bringing back jobs, well, at least trying to prevent jobs going from Michigan has worked, and he's closing the gap in the polls. And although as it stands, it may not look like he's going to win, but I personally think, despite the black population there, again, I think the black vote will drop in this state in particular. Or, as Donald Trump's what have you got to lose strategy to, again, the trade issue may affect some of the black voters. But again, anyway, enough of my rambling, and I think it's going red. Again, dispute that in the comments if you like, as I say. And, you know, it's the same with Ohio. Ohio's a very interesting one. There's pretty big black population now, and even in well, next door in Pennsylvania, there's actually quite a anti-immigrant. I'm going to talk about that in a second, actually. So let's talk Ohio. Of course, we got we got Kasich, and he won the primary there. Of course, it's his home state. He did a good job. He has been quite hostile. I thought recently he was going to endorse Trump. He's still got time. He could decide to campaign, and that will decide it. But I still think, even despite this, I think Trump will find a way to win Ohio. Again, Romney ran a pretty tight race, and not many. And the buzz behind Romney wasn't as big as it was behind Virginia. The passion, and you could say that with Clinton, there was much more passion, in my view at least. From Obama's campaign, even in his second term after he had been in office, there was more passion with him than there was with Hillary Clinton in her first term. Yeah, I believe even Jeb Bush has got more energy than Hillary Clinton. But yeah, anyway, so I don't know a hell of a lot about this state. As I said, this isn't one I should probably have researched it a bit more, but I do know a bit, demographics wise. But I still think nonetheless it'll be a tight race. The third parties could come into play. The Libertarian Party, I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure they are in the ballot in an important state like this, and they could sway either way. And see, Florida, you've got a big Hispanic population, a fairly big black population, but again, they've got to turn out to vote. If the white turnout is up in Florida by even just a couple of percentiles, and the black vote, let's say they maintain, let's say it's the same level. And obviously Obama won by, what was it, 0.90% against Romney, excuse me. And again, Romney, what was the buzz behind the guy? I mean, maybe I'm not basing this off the best thing, but I believe Trump will win Florida. I was convinced he was going to lose. I never put any bets on for him to win Florida. Maybe I should have. But personally now, I've actually, even despite, as I said, the demographics being harder than, say, let's say Nevada and even, I don't know, Iowa and New Hampshire, which I'll get to soon, of there being around 90% in Iowa and New Hampshire of the white population there. But yeah, so give me your thoughts on that. And Virginia is another interesting one. Obama won this by the skin of his teeth against Romney again, and there's, in Virginia, I'm hearing that Trump's very popular. Of course, we have Tim Kaine, Hillary's VP, but he seems to be under the radar, not so popular. You could say the same about Mike Pence, but I think Mike Pence in Indiana will hold fire. And anyway, I suppose, who knows, we've got to see the vice presidential debate, and we'll see how that goes. If he can get the spotlight, perhaps that can help turn keep the state from turning red. But personally, just from what I've seen in the polls, the way he's managed to close the gap amazingly, and I mean at the rate he's done it, and as I said, these polls are subjective, of course, we should take them with a grain of salt, but the buzz behind Trump in Virginia, again, this is a bold prediction, this one is a very, very bold one, so I'm going to go with Trump on this one, and yeah, perhaps I'm overestimating Trump, underestimating Hillary in her campaign, and I've heard she hasn't got good. I have heard her ground game in Virginia is awful, particularly in Virginia and Ohio. I mean, there was even a clip of a guy in Ohio walking into one of I believe it'd just be a campaign office, and there was like no one there. Unfortunately, it's pretty sad. I didn't even laugh at it. I found it quite sad. I felt sorry for the guys working so hard for having no volunteers and whatnot. But yeah, and in Pennsylvania, I've been spent much anti-immigrant sentiment, and we all know that Trump is not the biggest fan. I wouldn't even say he's not the biggest fan of just immigration. Of course, illegal immigration. Perhaps there is many illegal aliens residing there. In Pennsylvania, I do have my doubts, but I'm still going to say that the state will turn red. Yeah, I mean, of course, I could be wrong, and I may change my mind. I may think, oh, if the next two debates go horribly, which I personally don't think they will, If he keeps talking about that Machado, whatever her name is, that Miss Universe lady, I personally believe that, yeah, I'm going to say for now this is going to be red. As I said, I'm not going to get into too much detail. I'm going to mention some statistics here and there, but of course, yeah, there's that. But right, anyway, New Hampshire. I've been thinking about this for a bit. Obviously, Bernie Sanders is known there, Elizabeth Warren, and there's the Libertarian presidential nominee. He's very popular in New Hampshire, so I'm very uncertain of whose vote that may skew. But I've been thinking about, there is a 90% onwards white vote, but I personally think this is, I think she's got they've got a half decent northeast strategy. Of course, these states are also sort of relatively northeast, but especially here, it's a very liberal area, and I think it's going to stay blue. But yeah, anyway, here's my prediction. Sorry if I digress. Sorry if it was a bit sloppy. You guys you know what, I just want to stimulate conversation, even if it's negative. So please leave your comments down below. Let me know what you think, and let me know who you think is going to win. By the looks of it, I think that Trump's going to win by a damn near landslide. Possibly. This isn't quite a landslide, but, well, it could be worse. Maybe I'm getting it wrong. Maybe I'm underrating Trump's efforts. Maybe he could win Minnesota. Maybe he could even win Wisconsin. They're up for grabs. They're pick'em states, and I may have even got New Hampshire wrong. You tell me. But as I said, let me know what you think, and also like or dislike to reflect what you thought of the video. Of course, as I said a million times, comment down below, subscribe for more content. You guys have a lovely day or evening wherever you are. Thank you very much.